Hey, it's Writing Wednesday, the first one for a little while. It's been a really busy time, and if you've been watching this channel, you know why. It's because my book, A Sudden Sun, is finally out. It is there in real paper. It is complete. I've only made, I think, one vlog since the book was released, and that was the one where I took my viewers along on my trip to the Word on the Street Festival in Halifax. And I thought I would do more over the intervening weeks between then and my book launch, which was just a couple of weeks ago, but it really has been a super busy time. Seeing your book in print, whether it's your first time or your 23rd time, is always exciting. It is never not a wonderful thing to open a book that you've written in its printed form and see it there looking all real and official. That's always exciting. And when a book comes out, you begin your other job as a writer, which is promoting it, doing readings, signings, interviews, going to events. And that is, like I said, it is a real whole other job. And you get to do some really cool stuff. And you also get to do some unexpected things. And you have some frustrating moments.
The unexpected things include, well, things like getting asked to read at events where almost all the other performers are dancers, which is quite cool. The frustrating things include going onto the computer system on the local branch of the country's biggest chain bookstore, looking up while you're in the store and discovering that your book is listed as unavailable, no copies, when you know perfectly well that there are, in fact, copies in stock right back there on the shelf, and you find yourself thinking, I bet this kind of thing never happens to Stephen King.
Among the coolest things when your book comes out is having a launch party. For my first several books that I wrote in my writing career, because I was always working with a publisher who was based very far away from where I was living, I never actually had a launch party. And it's only with these last few books, By the Rivers of Brooklyn, That Forgetful Shore, and A Sudden Sun, published with local publisher Breakwater, that I've had the fun of a big launch party where lots of friends and family come out and buy copies of the book, and I get to stand there and read from my book to a group of people who I know are predisposed to enjoy it. That's really nice. You got a nice few names there, she said, handing the paper back to Grace. Do you find most of the women around here are sensible enough to want the vote? Oh, I'd say it's about half and half so far, Grace said. She had knocked on doors of houses like this one where she and her petition had been welcomed warmly, and she had gone to others where the door had been slammed in her face. At Heber Bursey's place, she had never even gotten to talk to the woman of the house. The mister had told her to get out. I'll kick you off the gallery if you comes waving that piece of trash in my missus's face again. After a reception like that, it was nice to sit in Mrs. Gullidge's warm kitchen and hear how it was high time for women to have the vote. But Heber Bursey's missus, Betty, cornered Grace outside the church on Sunday. Have you got that petition of yours? I means to put my name to it while himself got his back turned. Heber was not a churchgoer, so Betty did not have to look out for him, as she made a careful X, and Grace wrote Elizabeth Violet Bursey next to it. I hopes 'tis not a sin to sign it on a Sunday. I suppose it is a sin to go against my Lord and Master, but what he don't know will never hurt him, so I 'lows he'll live forever, 'cause he don't know nothing. Thank you very much. So the launch is over, the book is out. I'm running around doing readings and signings whenever I get the chance. Had a couple of good interviews/reviews. If you want to know more about all that stuff, you should go to my book website. There's a link down below to that. And check out the events page and the press page. Find out what's going on, what people are saying about the book, and what I'm up to, and especially where you can get me to sign a copy of it, because I love it when people come by with a book for me to sign. But that also brings me to talking about beginnings and ends. When your book is published, it's an ending. It's the end of the journey between the writer and the book. The time that I've spent coming up with the story, getting to know the characters, wrestling with problems with the story, getting it down on paper, editing and revising, working with an editor, and finally getting it into its final form. Once it's out, there's not much more I can do with it. It's an ending, and it's also, of course, a beginning. It's the beginning of the book's life in the world, in the hands of readers, when it belongs not just to me, but to the people who read it and form their own opinions about the characters and their own hopes and dreams for what they think will happen to the characters after the book ends. So it's really not mine anymore. It's yours, it's everybody's, and that's really exciting. But it is an ending of sorts. As I think about the end of my journey writing this book, I also think about this vlog series, which I started almost exactly 2 years ago in October of 2012, when I had only the roughest idea for the book that was going to become A Sudden Sun. And I had a little bit of writer's block and needed something new to kickstart me creatively. This blog really did it, and I've loved the interaction with readers and other writers that it's brought me. During the first year when I was writing the book, I made 50 vlogs, which is pretty close to one a week. In the second year, when the book was mainly at the publisher, I continued making vlogs. I made about 35 in which I talked about other aspects of the writing life. I talked about favorite books of mine and what I learned from them as a writer. I talked about the process of getting your book published and edited. And along the way, I've really told you most of the things I wanted to tell you, and explored for myself most of the things I wanted to explore about the writing life, including the things I'm doing now, like doing readings and book signings and the crazy things people say to you at book signings, and really all those aspects of the writing life. I feel like I've done what I set out to do with this vlog series. I've loved vlogging. I'll definitely do it again at some point, but I feel like right now is the time to wrap up the Writing Wednesday series. When A Sudden Sun is released and out there for you to read, when I'm starting to get ideas and think about a new book, it just seems like a natural time to say goodbye to this particular series. I hope people will continue to look back over these 80+ videos, enjoy some of what I've had to say about writing, maybe learn from it, maybe disagree with it, maybe have a laugh at some of my more ridiculous moments. I will be around on the internet as always. I will be writing and reading and blogging and probably vlogging again someday, and I will definitely see you again soon.